Good evening. I'm Judy Clark, the Executive Director of the Pecanico Center, and on behalf of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the David Rockefeller Creative Arts Center for tonight's work in process showing with Rokafella, Kwikstep, and the full Circle Souljahs. The Pecanico Center rests on Lenape-Hoking, unceded land of the native Lenape people. We honor the Lenape, past, present, and future, in gratitude and appreciation for their stewardship of this land for generations. It has been an honor hosting breakdance leaders and legends, Rokafella, Kwikstep, and the Full Circle Souljahs for their residency at Pecanico Hills this week. The legendary group of dancers representing New York's popping community gathered to facilitate intergenerational transference in knowledge in recognition of their groundbreaking contributions to the art form and in celebration of the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Tonight, this illustrious group will lead a conversation on the traditions of popping, a street dance style that originated in California and was built upon by New York City dancers, followed by a dance demonstration that celebrates the genre's soulful resilience. On Sunday evening, November 12th, the group will present at Works in Process at the Guggenheim. Tonight's event is presented through the Pecanico Center's partnership with Works and Process's Launchpad Residency Program, which supports artists through the creative process by knitting together a region-wide network of sequenced and made-to-measure, fully funded residencies and public showings. Works in Process are a grantee of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund's Culpeper Arts and Culture Program. Following tonight's performance, please join us in the gathering space for a reception where you can also view the gallery exhibition, Portraits of Process. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Rokafella, Kwikstep, and the Full Circle Souljahs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We always love applause, right? As dancers, we're yes, yes. We always say the more noise you make, bam, the more we'll do. So, appreciate the love and your presence here. Thank you so much. We know that this show is being live streamed, so we want to give a big shout to Ellie, who put this thing together. Who put this thing together? Thank you, Ellie. I know you're feeling yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Sending you some love. We know that you're under the weather, but you're going to beat that and you're going to come right back. And we're going to see you. Anyway, super gratitude to you for organizing this. Kwikstep and I have a platform in New York City where we co-founded a nonprofit dance company called Full Circle Productions. We co-founded it, and the mission was to preserve the original classic styles of hip-hop dance, but also to embrace the newer iterations and whatever the new generations are creating, because it's all one voice. It's all one voice. And so we were invited.
Yeah, we were invited up here as Full Circle Souljahs, because that's the crew that comes out of Full Circle Productions. And the Souljahs spelled Souljahs, because we're souls in the trenches preserving what this is about. We're in the first 50 and 60 years
That's
of
right. 50th
street.
anniversary.
Yes, there's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and popping was out before then.
Yes.
And locking was out even before then, but that's another story. So we are in the beginnings of the preservation of what this is, and this in particular is called What's Poppin' NYC. So what's poppin', that's, we use that in New York, like, yo, what's poppin', what's going on, what's happening? But that poppin' terminology is the umbrella term that we do for its dance style, known in New York as boogieing, known in California as the electric boogaloo, okay? And New York has an iteration of that because of the way we move, the way the city moves, and the way we were dancing to break beats and electro funk. And we want to get the history out there with a multi-generational cast that goes from the ages of 30, people in their 30s, all the way to people in their 60s. And that shows that no matter what age you are, you can still get down and boogie.
That's it. And so we got here on Monday and we started to have a lot of conversations. We were like, it was like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long. All this stuff was coming out. So even before I whipped out the clipboard and said, we have to go over. No, I didn't even need to do that. The conversations were happening.
Right.
We tried to record everything. Then there were conversations also over dinner. It's been a magical, magical ride being in the presence of all this legendary creativity, resilience, and humility. These people are actually very humble, and it is our honor to have them present their story and also share video clips as historical references with you all and the world, because it's being live streamed. So should we then?
Yep, we're gonna go into some videos, and then we're gonna go into some testimonials, then Q&A, and then we're gonna go off and get down and, of course, boogie. Y'all ready? Make some noise if y'all ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like the energy.
And by the way, I am Rockefeller, Dance Rockefeller, and that is Kwikstep.
I am Kwikstep.
So I've been introducing myself to the staff and the team, everybody, as Dance Rockefeller, Dance Rockefeller, Dance. I rock the fellas. Not related,
Right.
but super connected to this week. Super connected to the Rockefellers. So
Right.
peace, family, what's up? What's up? And now to my family, we're going
John,
to pass the mic. The
here you
first
go.
legend to speak is Lakatron John.
Elder statesman, John Christian. Make some noise, y'all.
Thank you for that. Like Rockefeller and Kwikstep were saying, is that this is about New York Boogie. And one of the greatest things that I can really think about that's been compelling for a large portion of my life is what it's done for all of us. And even if I give you some examples from going to the street or the club scene and then migrating that to stages or off-Broadway performances to actual Broadway performances where we've even gotten Tony Awards for our efforts. So collectively for me, I like the fact that we have this unique style from the 5 boroughs of New York City that for some reason has continued to grow and prosper. And hopefully today we'll have an opportunity to share more of that. Now, what I'm about to allow them to show you today is just that. The culmination of a lot of some of New York City's best dancers at this time. You're gonna see a clip of that. I'll be the guy in the center in the gold vest. And by the way, my name is John Christian, but my dance name is Lakatron John. So if you would. Thank you. Like I said, that was part of a dream. And if you know anything about Broadway, New York in general, we have a lot of dreamers with aspiration. The theaters are a depiction of that dream, and the dancers that were part of the streets were a depiction of that same dream, and I was one of them. And I'm in my 60s, and virtually 99% of what you saw on that stage, I think I could still do today. So from my perspective, what we're trying to do in one essence is pass the torch, give you that inside community and conversation about who we are and part of that value that New York in general is very unique and creative about. But thank you for the opportunity for us to present this to you. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Good afternoon, y'all. Good evening. My name is John Rich. And my dance name is Float Master John. And floating is a glide, is a style. Like Michael Jackson doing the back slide in Billie Jean. Well, to master that style takes a lot of love and dedication. I've been dancing 50 years on the streets of New York City, and it's been hard. Dancing through 9/11, dancing through all troubles and hard, because that's a therapy. And, you know, meeting new people and passing it on to the young is something that I dream to do. My mother taught me, my father gave me the music. It's something that's embedded into me, you know. And I'm glad to have this opportunity to be here to share it and pass it to y'all. I got a little clip on here from what we do in the streets, if you will.
My name is John Rich, aka Float Master John. 40 years of dancing on the street. Float Master John is a style, that's my name, but that person, Float Master John, is a street hitter who has his own floating style, which he tries to master from the streets. I usually dance at Union Square because it's one of the places where I started. And the multiple, you know, dance studios and all that around it get to introduce a real authentic dance style. I never get tired of dancing.
It said I never get tired of dancing because I never get tired of the streets, because the streets is always changing. It's always a fast-moving place. You know, you got all kind of people inside New York City. You got Spanish, you got everybody there. So, you know, I want that with dancing, a big umbrella so everybody can exchange all levels of dance and, you know, love and tradition. And thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Francisco Concepcion Jr., dance name, Fresh Frank. I started my career, thankfully, to my high school that got me my very first professional job. And from there, I met my manager, DJ Scholar Rock, rest in peace. And from there, I went on to dancing with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and which took me to Japan. And from there, created a group called AGB, and then from there, came back here, and now I'm down with full Circle Souljahs. I've been dancing now for 41 years, doing poppin', New York style, of course. And what was good about New York style is that we would take different styles and make it our own. You know, and we had that certain vibe to it. We had this certain power, you know, energy that was just different. You can go to other states and you'd be like, oh, they're great. But when you come to New York, you see something completely different. You know, the vibe is just, you know, and then we always have had a family vibe too here. And then from there, you know, I started picking up, you know, choreography, like stuff that you see in, you know, all these contests and stuff like that. And then in my dance world of choreography, and I became a judge and became like the Simon Cowell. I was very like, no, move on next. So, and in doing those contests, I always did a judge showcase, which I'm going to present to you right now in 2013 in Florida. Thank you. And unfortunately, she didn't get no more. There was no more after that. I wanted to, but I was like, no, that's enough. But I also got to be grateful to a group that gave me the opportunity to do a lot of stuff, and that's my crew, Live Action Squad. You know, if it wasn't for them, you know, I probably wouldn't be on the road and meet where I met Kwikstep and Rockefeller in Japan. And from there, we became tight, you know, and so forth and so on. But thank you for coming. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
It's me now, my turn to burn.
Sing it, baby, sing it. Go ahead.
You got what I need. My name is Julio, not Julio Iglesias, obviously. Julio Santiago. I'm known as Clown, Boogie Down Clown, but because people were lazy, they decided to just call me Clown because they didn't want to put the other words in there. Okay. Known for my presence on stage. Early on as a street dancer in the Bronx, I was a battle guy. I loved to battle. I loved to compete against other dancers. I loved to humiliate people, make people laugh at them. That was my thing. Some time went on, and this happened. But, you know, when I was a slim dancer, I would audition against 400 or 500 other slim dancers. When I got heavy, I got typecasted, and I got parts for being a heavy dancer, which was not very healthy, but I made some good money. So I'm going to show you a clip of, this was in 2002. I was in France. In this clip, it's a very short clip, you'll see me do a move on the ground. I called it the back bounce. And now it's a popular move on TikTok. There are a few people that are doing it, but I just want to let you guys know that I was the creator of that move. Play the video. Thank you. And there it is. The creator of the back bounce. I learned how to entertain as a street performer because I had an audience in front of me and I can try new things, new material in front of the audience. So I learned how to perform as a street performer and wound up traveling around the world at some of the top street performing hotspots and then went into the street performing festivals, busker festivals, which, by the way, my group, the USA Breakdancers, won the Street Performers World Championships and didn't get a parade from America. And we were calling ourselves the USA Breakdance. We'll fix that later. But I learned how to perform doing street shows. And the name of my back bounce was almost, when I was working at Pier 60 in Clearwater, it was almost called the Beach Whale.
Still cool.
Because somebody, this is a beach spot, somebody came up to me and said, "Hey man, I want to watch your show. You gonna do the Beach Whale again?" I was a little upset at the moment, but then I said, you know what, this might be a cool name. So I created the Beach Whale. Thank you.
Well, 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 party people, one of these things is not like the other. My name is Peaches Rodriguez. I am the daughter of a Mexican national father and an Anglo mother who met in a ballroom in New Bedford, Massachusetts in the 50s. They had me, and in the 70s, I began dancing mostly the disco stuff, right? I learned the disco style, and then when I saw like the Electric Boogaloo's on TV, I was so inspired. I said, I have to learn that. And I learned that. Once I learned that, I moved to New York City, and these guys became my family right here. Clap for these people. Clap, 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 clap. I specialize in the combination of both electric boogie and boogaloo coming from Los Angeles. And I had the blessing of being here at the exact right time from 1982 to 1984, where they were casting an iconic movie called Beat Street. And out of thousands of people, I got chosen personally by Harry Belafonte and had the blessing of being on tour. The clip that you will see here, he asked me to go on tour to promo the video in the south of France. And this clip, you will see Harry Belafonte sitting next to the president of France. And I have the pleasure of dancing in front of the Soul Sonic Force, which are the premier beginning of hip hop, the best group on the planet as far as the music that we dance to. Kick it. As far as the style of dance, I still got better because I never stopped doing it. I use it today for my health and welfare. That's what I use it for particularly. So I'm hoping that I represent our generation well, being the original generation to do and create this dance style. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm a little shy. Sorry. So actually, let me start off by saying, along with my fellow and fella, y'all catch that? No, just kidding. Family up here, we are really grateful for your presence, and thank you for coming to listen to our stories. It's definitely important to us. That said, my name is Daniel E. Kelly III, AKA Future. Born and raised in New York City, 1969. I've lived in all 5 boroughs, actually, believe it or not, mainly in Queens, New York. Right by Kennedy Airport there. And also traveling back and forth to Co-op City in the Bronx. So I was able to get to see early on, not necessarily street dance per se, as far as the brothers that you see in front of you, performing in the street, but hearing about it, very early 80s. But that said, I'll give you a little bit more of a history of myself after this clip. Let's put it out there. as you can see, just in case some of you are not familiar with or this style of dance, as far as even with the music is new to you, some of what you saw was waving, which is one of the aspects of popping for us, or rather the umbrella word that we use for New York, which is boogie style. Okay, that said, for myself, my mentor was Chris Shake Mathis, who was a person I went to high school with back in 1984 to 1988, and he became onward to be a choreographer for many famous artists, including Taylor Dayne. So some of you who may have heard over the Home Depot or whatever store you've been to, tell it to my heart, tell it I'm the only one. When you see the video, the guy on the right-hand side, that's the guy who was the choreographer for her. Onward. So that said, he was my mentor.
He choreographed for Guy too, right?
Yeah, he choreographed for Guy. So for anybody who's gotten a little bit into hip hop and you're wondering about New Jack Swing, he was I really want to say the pioneer for that dance genre, not necessarily the music, but the dance genre for sure. And you could actually see a couple of videos from him if you look up Guy, if you type in G-U-Y, and you look in Merry-Go-Round or Groove Me, or a few of those things. He was the choreographer for them. Excuse me. That said, for myself, and trying to make sure I shorten this to share with my brothers, I'm not from the street dance and hitters circuit. I'm not from that era as far as being out there with them. Although my family, definitely being the people you see among you, but Rokafella and Kwikstep, I definitely have a relation with from the past. But that said, I'm more from stemming from the club element. And so with that said, part of, for me, what the boogie flow entails or allows to bubble up, if you will, the other aspects from boogie and other genres of music is house. So for myself, I bounce a lot more, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to something that's real tight, because I'm able to flow within different genres of music like house or hip hop and or funk, electro, what have you. But that said, I'm going to pass it on to my brothers over here on the other side. But thank you very much for listening. I'm showing up.
Hi, I represent the younger people. Don't let the gray fool you. My name is Liddell Thomas. I am originally born from Trinidad, and I came up here when I was 8. My dance name is Mr. Ocean. How can I forget? Mr. Ocean, that's what people call me. I started doing dance hall, went into hip hop choreography, and eventually found this guy over here, Future, and he kind of mentored me and brought me into the scene. And I've also, hit with John and, met Peaches. And I have been dancing for 20 years, popping for 10 years, and I've done a lot of battling. I've done a lot of shows as well. The video clip you're going to see is a battle around the first couple years that I started popping. And here we go.
Now,
I won. I beat that guy. Kidding, he's my peer. I love him, but I did beat him. Yeah, I just will end with this. I mean, I'm very happy to be here. A lot of these people I look up to, and the things I've learned this week has been really eye-opening, and it really has made me feel a lot more like I've always been a part of something that I didn't really know what it was yet, and now I found it. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Justin Sean Herbin. I go by Ice O. I'm originally from the Bronx. Nowadays, I split my time between Scandinavia or Northern Europe and the Bronx. I started dancing in my 20s. I started popping 10 years ago, so now I'm in my 30s. I was influenced by the aesthetic of New York by itself, New York culture, being from New York, being from the Bronx, as well as a group called the Inhumanoids and a practice session called Pop Shop. I mostly dealt with earlier in my career battles, a lot of studio culture, like practice sessions, but I also, being from New York and being around my elders and getting to see them, have been able to really understand why street dancing is in fact street dancing, because it's not born and it doesn't live predominantly in studios, although things are a bit different nowadays. I've been traveling, doing competitions, doing commercial work, things like that. And in the clip that you're going to see, it's me battling in Oslo, Norway. I think it's 2021, but you can play it. I just want to say that it's really like an honor, because a lot of these people are, in my eyes, and for what I do and for what's very important to me, legends. And if I didn't have them, even indirectly when I did not know them, but I had seen glimpses, I would not be able to do a lot of the things or have the courage to go to other places, to have these jobs, and to stand on my own 2 feet as a representative of what this is, as well as a representative of New York City.
You see, this is like the assembly of superheroes right here. You see that? What is it, Super Friends? Was it Super Friends?
This is X-Men.
Y'all remember that?
This is X-Men, and this is Professor X. On Earth 4, this is the version, right?
Without the wheelchair, we are definitely blessed to still be healthy and alive and excited and inspired enough to say yes to come to a residency, take a week out of our daily hustle and routine to come honor the legacy that is not really prominent. You know, it's not visible when you are tuning into a TV program, a Grammys or whatever concert. No one's talking about this. Actually, no one even introduces background dancers. It's just 100 of them, but you know the name of the artist. And so if we don't try to do something to combat that kind of erasure, it's going. It's going. And so that's part of why me and Kwik are so, our mission is to be able to bring visibility. So Kwik and I have a platform, but now we want to put these people into the spotlight so that there's some sort of value and respect to how creative and resilient from all the generations. It's not just bowing to the elders, but also the young ones who are like, I want to do this too. I love this. And what's next, y'all? Because that was kind of a question that came up to me, like, now, what do we do? What's next? Which is great, because it's like a cycle.
Yeah, and you know, and that cycle continues, and that's why I came up with a company called Full Circle, because this is a collective consciousness. And even in the 5 boroughs, while you're practicing, I remember looking at, you know, traveling to different boroughs or looking at the projects, and I remember me practicing in my room, taking a drive with my parents, and looking at the lit windows. I'm like, somebody in those windows is also practicing. And I'm gonna see those people at the club, or at the block party, or at the roller rink. You know what I mean? And then when I meet these people who I imagine were practicing, they're in front of me. And I'm like, oh, it's the same person that's practicing like me. And now we get to see those secret styles that we're practicing. And that came in culmination to Manhattan. All the 5 boroughs came to Manhattan, that one borough, and the best of the best came there. And you thought you were the best from your block, and you came down to a place like the Roxy's, and guys smoked, and you had to go home and cool off.
Or do more push-ups, because I was like, man, I gotta get some muscles. These people are actually nice. I thought I was nice.
And so we saw many different things, and you had to catch it quick. And you do what you thought you saw, and inadvertently came up with a new move, a new style. And so during these conversations, we started to talk about what were the differences. For instance, I'll start it off, and you can build on it, between a float and a glide. That's one of the things we discussed, and we can build from there. John, or Floatmaster John, you want to take that? Or Clown?
So we're talking about things that are typically, characteristically part of boogieing. And float and gliding is one of the things that everybody spoke about.
Basically, floating, glide, like I said, Michael Jackson did the slide in Billie Jean, and floating is like, it's like gliding on the floor, but you're using strength. And you have to use speed. But in the streets when I'm dancing, the police is on me all the time. So I got to get up in there, do my thing, pack my bags and go. So you got to put out your pieces in like 10 minutes or 5 minutes and go, you know? But a lot of things don't happen the way it do, but I'm happy that my skill got stronger, faster, you know? And all my peers learned to hit the streets, hit the beat on time, and don't have time for nothing else. That's one of my partners. I dance with almost all these people on this stage in 40 years. I dance with a lot of these guys. So Clown is one of my partners.
All right. Yeah, so I tend to like to wave a lot. I like illusions, things that look fake, that look like magic. And I learned how to pop by just watching, because you know they had it in California, but we didn't have it in New York City. We would have to watch a music video, see something really quick, and then figure it out on our own. So that's kind of how Electric Boogie became Electric Boogie. We were trying to do what the West Coast did, but we were poor. We couldn't go out to California. We didn't have video cameras. We watch Soul Train, we watch a television show. We see a little glimpse of something, and we try to figure it out. And our music was different. It was faster. They were on funk, we were in disco, and electro funk, so a little faster. So we danced faster, and we tried to figure out what they were doing in the West Coast on our own. So that's what became Electric Boogie. I learned how to wave from a guy that his name was Mike. There was a movie called Magic Mike. His name was Magic Mike, which was kind of weird. But he was a waver, and he taught me how to wave. And I liked it. I liked waving. So part of my style was waving, some hits, learning some floats and glides from John. Hanging out with Frank, me and him vibing back and forth, battling other people. You know what I mean? So, yeah. What's that thing? Oh, yeah, the hammers. In California, they had a thing called hammer style, but it was in the popping world, but it didn't spread out too good. It didn't go out. It wasn't a really big deal. It was a couple little moves But I capitalized on it, and I started doing hammers from every direction and just all types of hammers. So I got pretty known for hammers as well, which I, by the way, will not do hammers tonight, and you will not see me do the beach whale. So lower your expectations right now.
No lowered expectations.
Because it takes a lot of flexibility for some of the stuff that I was doing. And that was thin clown in the hammer days and heavy clown on the beach whale days.
And can we get a small demonstration of what a float looks like?
Oh, quick.
Float, just real quick. Because floating, your feet look like they're floating. And because the roller skating was really popular in New York City, that's what you look like. I remember watching him, and I thought he was a skater in the middle of a circle, skating around. And then I got to the circle, this guy has no skates. And he was zipping around. I was like, yo. And somebody said, yo, he's floating. And California, the poppers in California said, yo, some of the best floaters are in New York City. Just give a little demonstration what that looks like, man.
Yeah. That's it. And Kwikstep is talking about years and years ago. So, that was beautiful. That's a gift right there. Limited edition. Okay. We would like to open the floor up in case there's anybody that maybe something is bubbling up from everything that you saw. We got a hand already. We will pass the mic to you, and any of these legends can respond and answer, because it was a week of a lot of information, a lot of history, a lot of video clips.
Never used one of these before. Thank you. This was all really, really interesting. I was curious if some of you could talk about some of the differences in the places you originated from, like street versus studio versus battles versus, what were some of the other ones? Competitions and clubs. Yeah, like how is the vibe different? How are the moves different? Like what kind of diversity was each place bringing?
The streets and the studios, well, in the studios where you learn and dance, you have mirrors, right? And when you look at that mirror and the teacher is teaching you ballet, you see a reflection of yourself, and you see in your form. But in the streets, the audience is our mirrors. If you don't do a good move or something like that, then you get a reaction from the people. And this is how we made a living. The better we dance, the more reaction from the people, and that's how we kept going. So that's the difference between me, the studios, and the street. That's my difference.
All right. Somebody else?
Yeah, it's when you dance in the street, you have to entertain, and it's not for yourself, it's for the people that are watching you. And it's a different vibe in the studio because it's confined and there's no vibe between you and the mirror to your soul is your eyes. And when you're looking into somebody's eyes and you're doing something great, you can see it in their face. You know what I mean? And that is the mirror. And somebody in the studio they have a different type of confidence as opposed to people in the street. You got to really impress those people to even get a reaction, especially in New York City.
My understanding or my own experiences in the current generation where a lot of our street dancers are found or taught in studios nowadays by people who maybe are not from the cultures that they were developed in. Well, one, these dancers are cultural folk arts. So a lot of the stuff that, when they're passed on by like for me, when I speak to like my predecessors, the people who come before me, there's life that is, communicated to me along with techniques and things like that. And when we do the techniques, there's a reason why we do the techniques. So sometimes you won't do it in this context or you will do it in this context. And when you are dancing with people who are in studios or when you're only learning these things in the studio, it's almost like if you would learn yoga here versus if you would go to where it comes from and learn from somebody who would know all the nuanced things and be able to tell you, well, this is what we wore and this is what, there's just so many things, like so much information that gets lost. They both have their pros, but that's what I would say the difference is.
So this is what I wanted to tell you, since I am the first generation female popper. I am originally from Connecticut because I'm an Air Force brat. My father was stationed up in an Air National Guard in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. So when I came to New York, and with the skill set, I ended up at the most incredible place on in the universe for this all 4 elements of hip hop, the Roxy. And if you remember with the opening of, I don't know what it was, where Dorothy walks through the door, everything's in black and white, and Dorothy walks through the door and she sees this new universe, all in color. That's what it was like when you walked into the doors of the Roxy. You would go into it and there was every denomination of people dancing to this style of music. Black, white, Latino, Japanese, all the Europeans, all of Europe was there. Punk rockers, like Blondie and all the hip hop groups, everybody came to the Roxy, and it was like our laboratory. You saw this dance being created in real time. You saw the mistakes that were made, and you saw it get better as it went over the years, like 4 or 5 years that Roxy existed. You saw it keep getting better. And then the whole universe found out about it, and then they would come down. So we had all the celebrities were coming down to see what this was. In the very beginning of hip hop, the dancers were the focus, not the rappers. The music, the DJ, and the dancers. They came to watch the circles and watch these guys do what they do, the marvelous things that they do. They're superheroes to me. There you go.
I hope we answered your question. Is there another question somewhere that's like something that maybe sparked up, or a comment, or?
Is there a difference in choreography between what you can do on the street and what you can do in a studio, on a wooden floor, on a sprung floor? Does it make a difference in what you're capable of doing?
Yes, in simplicity it does. One of the things to think about as a dancer is the rhythm, your clothing, the environment, the texture of the surface that your body comes in contact with. The other piece of that is, especially if you're thinking about doing floats or glides, what type of shoes do I have? Are they patent leather? Do they have a hard shell support for my toes if I'm going to do an illusion? So you take all of that in context depending on where you are, and that will even, in most cases, even dictate the very music that you decide to use if you were a street performer, or if you were rehearsing in a studio, or if you were doing a stage performance. So we actually took great care to even think about, hey, even though we're going to come here and we're going to vibe and we're going to share, we also had to think about, all right, I'm a little bit older now, so let me make sure that I'm a little bit more comfortable. So we'll do less ground moves for my older knees and do some other things that are easily or equally as complementary in terms of our abilities and that whole art style from the boogie style in New York that we all helped create and develop. But great question, though. Thank you.
I just wanted to add quickly that there was a moment where we were in control of the choreography and the moves and how we did it, what shapes we made. But at one point, we weren't in control of it, okay? And so, and I'm talking about like maybe what, after 84, 85, the industry was like, all right, what else you got? We've seen that. Give us something new. Or you know what, that's kind of too complicated. I can't mass produce it and repackage it. Give me something new. And so it was a moment of shift. And so that's where you have the two paths. You have this commercial path, this commercial version of what we do, and then you have this community underground that looks like this, and still looks, and has changed because, you know, boogie had to change, right? But I just want to make sure that you all know that at this point, we're not going to let an industry or commercial entity or a corporation tell us what looks good on stage, or what I, as a woman, should be wearing, or what, how long we should do it for, or what shape, because it's not for you to tell us how to do what we do. If anyone owns this, it's us, it's them. And so a lot of times when the workshops or the Monsters of Hip Hop Dance Conference is coming, we're not on it. Who they're putting on those pedestals are the choreographers of the rap music or the major recording artists. That's who's teaching the workshops. It's not the actual people who created it. Because there's going to be a difference in what we're teaching opposed to what the pipeline needs to be in order to have new talent and new people who are just going to do a move, not question, hey, this isn't actually technique or fundamental, or what are we doing here? And so I just want to make sure that you all understand that there's a shift that happens when culture goes into a commercial realm.
I just wanted to add on ballet and popping. If I took a ballet artist and I put her inside like the wooden floor and a popper, they both would be smooth in their atmosphere. But if you took a ballet person and put on the concrete streets of New York City and a popper for 8 hours, you'll see a change. It's like friction, it's like resistance. It's like speed. You'll see the change. On the streets, it's like endurance. How long you can last. How long you can last and how your skill develops against all the elements.
Is there another question?
Greetings. In light of what you were speaking about with regards to the commercial aspect of culture, what is your feeling about the implementation of breakdance to the Olympics?
That question keeps coming up, even though we're talking about boogieing, but that question is really spicy. Everybody wants to know. You could take it or I could take it, either way.
All right. So I'm representing poppin' today. That's my first dance. But I'm known as Kwikstep because I get down with the get, right? I'm a breaker. So the Olympics comes to breaking. It's a good thing for the notoriety of getting breaking to be known around the world, but it's not being culturally represented. It's being depleted, actually. And I think that there should be a cultural committee attached to the committee that's going to go along with breaking into the Olympics. How great would it be if you walk into the Olympic halls and you see some of the pioneers that made up this dance, so people can educate themselves as to who these people are, just like when you see all the banners when you go into a basketball arena.
Jerseys.
And I think it's really important that people know it's a black-centric dance. They made this dance, right? And when it comes to the black experience, you're looking at it. There's a lot of black love on the stage. And people need to understand what that is. That black love comes from black struggle. And people need to understand that out of that struggle comes incredible art that has moved and rocked this planet. And as we go further and further into the commercial realm, we lose further and further the connection to the cultural essence of what this is really about. When we had to go across seas to do jazz, bebop, swing, tap dance, to make a living just to pay rent back in the States. It's kind of happening with hip hop right now. When you used to see a lot of black and brown hands, right now, you're not seeing as many black and brown hands. So we need to be that example in the Olympics, and we're seeing it change a little bit. So for some of us, it's like, but the other side is like, oh, maybe there's a chance. So it's kind of like there's pros and cons to this. It's sweet and sour at the same time. But if we're truthful about what needs to be done, ask and you shall receive. Let's see what we receive when it goes to the Olympics.
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
I like that it's in the Olympics myself. I like that it's in the Olympics because it comes from where I was born and raised. Where I was born, I came from the burnt down Bronx, when the Bronx was burnt down, literally neighborhoods. I was in Lebanon in 2001. When I was out there, I took some pictures of some of the war-torn neighborhoods that were still out there. was taking pictures. The guy came up and said, please don't bring these pictures to America, please. And I said, I'm taking this picture to compare it to my neighborhood where I grew up at in the Bronx. And he was like, there was a war in the Bronx? And I said, technically, yes.
Sort of, yeah. Somebody was trying to
There
remove
was a
us.
war in the Bronx. It was a drug war. It was crazy. So
Real estate war,
yeah. So
actually.
well, we know what we don't get into. We don't get into.
You brought it up, homie. You brought it up.
Well, yeah. So now, it's in the Olympics, but the problem is, it's in the Olympics. We can't do nothing about that. It's already done, right? You're going to see it. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, our team that represents us doesn't really have the funding that they should have to represent us. And we created this. They're not being backed up. They're not getting the funding to go out there and train, and that's their job, to go get the gold. Other countries are doing that, but not the United States. And that's the sad part. But I'm happy that it's in the Olympics.
And we'll see what happens after 2024. Sponsors may come in, you never know. It's exciting, but we also have to be wary, because we know what can happen. Is there one more question, and then we'll,
It's not a question, it's a statement. And addressing the thing that you said. In the 1970s, my sister lived in the city, and we used to walk up and down Columbus Avenue, and there were young teenage black boys who had no studio, no place to practice except their homes, and they were awesome.
Yep.
They were absolutely amazing. And then the police
That was
would come
probably
and
some
chase
of
them
us.
away.
Finish, let her finish. Wait, let her finish.
Who was there in the 70s? Amazing. Nobody to teach them but themselves. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so I just want to really quickly just say that I'm connected to everybody here through some mystical, artistic alchemy, and that this moment has been so special. I'm a descendant of the elders, and I'm sort of a cousin to the youth coming up. I've been in the city holding sessions and trying to go into the high schools and deal with the tempestuous teens, deal with middle schools, trying to bring them this knowledge so that they can feel a little more confident when they step out into the world. And so to be able to come to this residency is magic. It's pure magic, and it almost feels like everything was turning me towards this moment here, because I have a story for even the clip that Lakatron John began this evening. I had to learn that choreography when I joined a company that spawned out of that Criterion company. I learned that choreography, I performed it. So I just wanted to be able to share that there's something really mystical and magical when you grow roots in your hometown and you give back to your community. Eventually, it all comes back to you. And this is definitely for all the young people in the audience who are maybe thinking about what do I major in, or what should I do with my talent. You have to have tenacity and that staying power. To know, no, I go to sleep, I think about this, I wake up and I think about this. This is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life, and the doors will open if I just grow roots and trust and continue to build relationships. Everybody here is connected, and I don't even think 6 degrees of separation at all. I really don't. I mean, I was watching Peach at the Palladium when I was in a club with fake ID. I was in there watching her. Yeah, you could get a fake ID on Times Square back in the day. You could. Told them whatever year you needed to. Took a picture. That's it, I'm 21. But yeah, so anyway.
Who would have thought? Rockefeller.
Just want to point
Rockefeller would have never thought, when she got the name Rockefeller, that she would end up at the Rockefeller estate.
No.
Right.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
No, not at all.
Crazy.
Not at all. So I think at this point. Yes, one more. One more. Yes, one more comment.
I think maybe we should start doing. This guy right here is starting to fall asleep over here. I see him.
Hey.
It's almost nap time for him.
Right? Is that right? I thought it's
He's
just
shaking his head. Yeah.
I just thought his eyes were dry. I don't know. So, do you all want to see us dance? Un poquito. Okay, we're gonna put this. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Take a deep breath. Do your deep knee bends.
So here we are. Good evening, wherever you are and whoever you may be. A is for. 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 Excellent introduction. Better dance now.
stolen, to be stolen, to be stolen. Oh, oh.
Anyone want to get down here? You could. You're more than welcome. If not, this is your outro music. We want to make you feel good, because we feel cool right in front of our audience. Thank you for having us so much. Make some noise for your poppers.
Make some noise for Quick and Rock for putting this together. Yes, Sunday, where we're going to play in this. We got some more stuff added to the show. We're going to be adding some more stuff tomorrow and on Saturday, and then we're going to be playing it at the Guggenheim on Sunday. Much larger audience, more dancers, more fun. Please join us. Showtime at 7 p.m. at the Guggenheim, right? Good.
On the count of 3, when I say what's, you say poppin'. What's? 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 NYC is what's poppin'.
Okay, you can take him home to take his nap. Get him out of here. He's tired. Take the keys from him. Take the keys from him. You drive.
Hang in there, champ. It's almost over.
I go in a freaking place that I want to.